What you're about to watch is a private training that I did with a high-ticket sales team doing over $1 million per month in the Airbnb short-term rental space. Now, disclaimer, this team is very, very good. So due to that nature, the trainings we given here are pretty advanced. Now, this entire private sales training that we did, we handled specifically how to overcome fear objections. And what I mean by that is when you're handling a bunch of objections, you're looping, but you keep getting I need to think about it. And you know deep down what you're really having to deal with is fear and uncertainty. So in this training, I actually review a live sales call where they got a fear objection. And then halfway through the call to the rest of the call, we just handle Q&A on fear objections specifically. And what I'll go over here and cover primarily is the 4 phases that you need to take a prospect in from a fear objection to a close. Phase 1 being removing all the logistics that the prospect typically hides behind when there is a fear-based objection. Phase 2 is getting them to own that they are fearful and admitting that and bringing that addressing to the call. Phase 3 is then turning that negative experience and feeling that comes with fear into a positive experience of transformation. And then the 4th and final phase obviously is hard closing them. Now, what you want to know is with fear-based objections, you never want to book a follow-up. The only option here is hard closing. So in this training, we're gonna go in depth, reviewing a call, answering Q&A all the way to the very end on every different use case that you could handle a fear objection and the word tracks, patterns, and language frameworks that you need to consistently overcome it. So without further ado, let's get in.
Damn, look at that fireplace.
Gotta spit some fire or spit some wisdom around the campfire.
Hell yeah, I love it. Let's roast some marshmallows.
100%. All right, let me let Justin in here. All right. I think we got just about everyone. How you all doing? Good week so far?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Nice. Awesome. Doing well as well. Thank you for asking. Well, let's get to it. And we've got a call review to knock out and we go straight in fire. So who's on the chopping block? Okay, let's do it. Sweet. And what was this call about, brother?
So this guy's been following about 5 years. So pretty much like, right, he was like saying like in his like minivan or something like that. So this guy's been following for a while. At the end, it was just like fear based, is like he just needed like to take some time to think about it. I don't think I like handled it the best way I could have. I think I did a good job of doing it, but I think ultimately for him it was he just like didn't want to make a decision now. He wanted to like think it over. That's how he does his processes, that sort of thing. So I think like for me, it's more like going over those sort of like fear-based objections towards the end is kind of like what I wanted to go over.
Absolutely. Do you know when you dropped price roughly?
I should have probably wrote this down. Not exactly. I know the call went a little bit longer. I had a bit more time to kind of like take my time with it, do like discovery and stuff.
It, and then you tell me if I need to go forward or backwards.
Sure. Like Airbnbs. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just like how these a place. For example, if I have an Airbnb longer. So even past this point, so tie downs would be right after I screen share.
Oh, perfect. So I'll start from here then.
Yeah. Design from Summer Led. They have a sauna here, games. Yeah. So it's really all about just like creating that experience and like what would attract people to go to this area. Like, you know, you can tell this is probably for families. You know, kids are going to see it, they'll get excited.
What do they got stuff into that place?
but yeah, like there's so many different places like that, and that's what it is. Like, you know, I'll show you more. I'll show you a pretty cool one that just went live with us the other day. So this was 2 days ago. Right, they collaborated with Summer Led Designs here, and this is in Bradenton, Florida. And this personally isn't my vibe, but I mean, you can kind of see that there's some cool thought that goes into these.
Sure.
Little mini golf course.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's not even that big of a place, is it?
No, to be honest, like it's not that big of a place. I think I'll actually go back to like what it is. So yeah, so this is just like a 3-bed here. This is a 3-bedroom. Yeah. So it's nothing like too crazy. But again, it's about how do you structure the photos? What does it look like? You know, by the time you get there, you're still blown away by it, but it's more like what's catching the eye when you first go in and see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. So really, Chad, like that's the structure of the academy. Just to quickly recap what we went over. So number 1, you're gonna have the whole A to Z process with the training modules. It's gonna help you with all the legal stuff, you know, finding markets, data analysis, you know, really running the numbers and how do we do that? Like we'll have templates for each one of those. Like we'll have spreadsheets, how you run numbers and do those things. Then you'll have all like Michael's personal strategies. Then you're kind of walking through with this whole process with Logan and your client success managers. They're gonna be holding your hand through every step of the way. And then you're gonna have that community for support, connections, even motivation when you need it. So I guess Chad is kind of after going through everything, like how do you actually feel like this is what you're looking for?
it's exactly what I'm looking for.
Awesome.
That's
man.
why I made the call. Yeah, does a heck of a job of promoting this academy. So, and I've been listening to it enough, so it was time to make the call.
Yeah, hey, I mean, and this is come from me, but like, man, like I have 100% confidence in you that you can do this too. And just from talking with you, I think it'd be cool for you to even tell Michael your story. I'm just telling him how like you were following him since he even became big. Because usually you talk to people and they just found out a week ago versus like you've been knowing him for like 4 or 5 years.
Oh yeah, since he was in his van.
Yeah, that's actually super cool. I'm actually excited for you because like in a way it's kind of like you know him even though you don't really know him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Well, Chad, like I'm glad that this does align with you because alignment is definitely super important for us as well. Like I'm number one, like I'm 100% confident that we can help you with this. But I guess just in terms of maybe just like a number scale of like 1 through 10 is one on the low end that you just don't see this working, and maybe 10 is just like working with us you would be successful. I guess where would you say that?
Yeah, I'm like, I know what you guys do works. I'm like 9, 10 with what you guys got going on for sure. I'm pretty sure you guys have put all the work and all the back end work into it. And so yeah, I'm confident working with you guys instead of I don't even know who else is out there. I don't even follow anybody else. I just yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. I guess for you, like, do you have any last questions, concerns, hesitations about the academy, or are you really ready to just get this thing started?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. Yeah. I am ready to get this thing started. Yeah.
Let's go. So just to give you an idea what the next steps will look like.
Man, I'm baffled to see why this guy didn't close. Let's do it.
So number one, we process payment with credit card, debit card, ACH, whatever you want to pay. So we process payment together. Then I'll get you inside of our school platform. That's the name of the platform we use to host everything. It's kind of like our center hub. That way you'll get access to our training modules. You'll deep dive into those. And then I'll have you set up your one-on-one onboarding meeting with your client success manager, where you guys will meet each other, make a game plan, then start working week by week towards actually finding markets, finding deals, pulling the trigger, launching it, and rinsing, repeating the process. So in terms of the actual investment for the academy and the way it works, it is a one-time investment that covers absolutely everything we talked about today. So no royalties, no percentages, just a one-time investment with the training modules, the tools, the coaching alongside with that community. So in order for us to help you get into your first successful couple properties, getting to that $15,000 a month goal, it's just a one-time investment of 12K.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay. I got you. All right. Holy smokes. I didn't think it was going to be that much, but okay. That could make me step back just a little bit, actually. I mean, I know you guys are offering. That's a lot you guys got going on there.
I mean, price aside, like, are you 100% confident that this is the right process and this is going to allow you to get into a property?
Yeah, I am confident of you guys, and I'm confident of your process, for sure.
Okay. So
12,000 up front, though.
So I mean, maybe just correctly, like, so we're not really contemplating whether or not we should do this. It actually seems like
I wouldn't have talked right there. I would have just let him sit in that. After you said 12K up front, let him give you an objection, opposed to start pacing the call and moving it along too fast. Like, I want to hear everything he has to say about it first. Let him show his cards.
I want to do this just more about how do we actually make this work financially. Is that kind of where we're at?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's $12,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It is.
Yep. Did you do that?
Do what?
Have you gone through this whole thing?
Yeah, that's how I ended up meeting in the first place. I was on the other end of this.
Right.
Gotcha. So I guess for you, Chad, like, it seems like that this will work for you. This is going to help you get into those properties. I guess, is it just like the upfront investment of 12K that's kind of holding you back, or is it like the total cost of 12K that's holding you back?
Upfront, total cost, both, like 12,000.
Because you'd be surprised, man. A lot of the times when you have someone like this, I've had the same fucking personality, is if you just don't ask questions, you just sit there. Yep, went through it myself. It's on silence. And you don't start asking questions, like leading him and giving him like an easy way to start navigating the conversation. A lot of times it was kind of like sitting it, like go back and forth. And he's like, fuck it, let's just do it. And then he'll just move forward. And you'll get a lot of those sales just by staying silent. Let him work it out and process himself. You got over a lot on the call. You've been on it for an hour. You just dropped a 12K price point. You want to let him sit and just think. Just let him process it. Because if you don't, that's where a lot of these think about objections come from. Because if you just start moving the call too fast for him, and then it starts to feel a bit overwhelming, it's okay, I need to like hop off and think about this. Because we didn't allow him to think about it on the call. It's a really important thing. Make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. No, holy crap. Okay. I'm going to sleep on this one. Well, now I know the price though, so that's good. And then I can.
So at the end of the day, too, Chad, like, I know, like, for yourself, you've been thinking about kind of going into this for 3 to 4 years, and it's been time. It's been the time to research everything and to be able to really learn this process. I guess for you, I'm not saying that it's not an expensive thing, but I guess you find that there's more ROI or value of learning how to do this quicker and getting a property up and running, or spending that time learning this to maybe where we're not even doing this for another year.
Right. I know. Exactly. Those are the things I got to weigh out in my head. It's okay. That's exactly right. Yep. Okay. All right. I got you. I got you. Okay.
So, I mean, man, right now, just the finances, that's the only thing that's holding us back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That
So-
that amount of money. Okay.
So when you say like it's like the upfront or just the total investment, I guess for you, like, is it just like that big amount coming out at once, or is it just the total amount? Just so I can get a little bit organized on my end.
It's both, man. It's both. So
But just kind of looking
I
at this,
could put that down for a down payment on a piece of property.
yeah, I mean, you
You
could,
understand where I'm getting at?
but ultimately at the same time, it's like we haven't
But
been able
then,
to.
okay, so I'm going to put 12K into an academy, which is great. I mean, it's, you guys like thumbs up, seriously. And then I'm going to get into another property that's going to potentially cost me another, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Because I know you said
All right.
earlier too, it's like, the one thing that's kind of holding you back is number one, just analyzing that right market. How do we actually run the numbers? Because ultimately too, we could go and spend that extra 12K on a property, but if that property doesn't actually perform, that's kind of what more my concern is like we spend $100,000 into a new property, but then it doesn't cash flow us. Because it doesn't always mean that actually 12K is going to actually turn into something new, which is what a lot of people have been able to, that have experienced, which is why we get a lot of people coming into our academy who already own short-term rentals. It's probably one of the biggest market. It's people who ran unsuccessful short-term rentals and now like, okay, we want to do it right this time. So,
Right.
I guess, yeah. So I guess like kind of looking into this, like it's not really about like, okay, we're spending 12K. We have to kind of look at it a little bit differently. Is like, what is this 12K going to bring me in the long term? Because we're looking at expanding this to 4 to 6.
Yeah, I like what you're saying here. To button it up and just like put that like stamp at the end of it and really let it impact them. Say, so that said, knowing that our biggest market is people that have actually already gone out and failed and then come back to us. Do you want that 12K to be a cost or be an investment? And just silence and then let them sit in that and answer.
Yeah, properties, not just getting into one. Because if we get our first successful Airbnb, now we're going to be more inclined to get into our second, third, fourth, fifth. So I guess for you, like, is it more important to make sure we're doing it right, effectively, and efficiently the first time? Or is it to maybe save that $12,000 now versus actually getting the result that we want to so we can actually potentially step away from our work if everything works out?
I
So
understand.
we're sitting at that you're sitting out on that box.
I understand. Those are things that I got way out in my head for sure. Yep. Okay.
So kind of walk me through your thought process. Because I know right now, we're a little shocked on the money and stuff, and I understand that it's a big investment. I talk to people all the time about it. I guess like for you, like what's actually like, just to be fully transparent, like what's actually like on your mind right now in terms of, do you feel like this is actually going to work for you?
What do you mean, the academy work for me?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, I know it will. I'm 100% confident in you guys. Absolutely. I've already told you that like 5 times. I mean,
what's holding you back, man? It seems like you're confident. You know it's going to work for you. I mean, if you think
$12,000 is what's holding me back, bro.
But you're going to be making 15K a month.
Yep. Okay. I gotta have to think about this one, Matthew.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
I know you want to make a sale right now. I get it.
I mean, ultimately too, Chad, it doesn't matter to me whether or not you come in today, tomorrow, the next week. Like, I think for me, I just make sure that you have the right information that you need. And that you're feeling 100% confident about this process. That's more important to me than whether or not I make a sale. Because to be honest, man, like an extra dollar, a couple of dollars for us, another client doesn't change us. We want to make sure that like you're coming in fired up and that you're gonna be one of our next testimonials. That does more for our business from like our review standpoint and how like our reputation is right now, is you coming in and crushing it versus us just making a sale. So I just want to make sure you feel good and you're excited coming into this. Because ultimately, man, it's like, we could get in a property or 2 or 3 months, or, it could kind of be like the way it was maybe the past 3 years. We're thinking about it, we're not doing it. So I just want to make you feel good about it and you have the right information.
I do. Yeah, you did a good job laying it all out for me, for sure. I mean, I know what I'm getting from you for $12,000.
Yeah.
You outlined it really well, for sure. And like I said, I'm confident in you guys' process for sure. And it comes with a lot. There's a lot that comes with $12,000.
And what is that? In your opinion, like what do you feel like you'd be getting like the most benefit off of actually going through?
Yeah, so there's a comment here I want to address too. Man, you guys blow up the freaking chat. You guys are like the most engaged in the chat of any team call I've ever done. I like it.
You're welcome, bro.
Yeah, it's you guys are actually paying attention. I like it. Most people are just camera off, fucking off, doing something in the background, and wonder why I don't make money. So there was it Matthew? Or were you the one that typed said you should be doing you should have gone into personal fear over logistics, or was that someone else?
I said that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so I agree with you on that. The thing is though too, man, it's not bad to eliminate the logistical part of the conversation. So that way he has nothing to hide behind, and then you can dive into the personal fear. Because I've noticed for myself, like I'll dive straight into the personal fear. He'll keep like using that logistical wall as a barrier between actually me addressing it. So like the easiest way for me to remove the logistical option, the logistical wall I hide behind, so I can dive into personal fear, is chunking up and chunking down. So a great book for all of you to read. It's like I've never read a single sales book. I only read psychology books, persuasion books. And one of the best books I ever read of those was Sleight of Mouth. If you guys, anyone read? Yes. Jim, is that you? You read it?
I was hoping you'd say sleight of mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, great book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if for anyone who hasn't read it, just be fucking prepared. It's complicated read. It's not something you just read in your pastime, and you really just gotta like sit and reread passages over and over again. I also recommend like they have like another version on Amazon, like Sleight of Mouth for beginners, or like for dummies or something. Like cause someone has basically made a profit off it. Hey, this book is way too complicated. Let me just dumb it down, and then they made it more sales, I think, than the original. Funny enough, but I would get both books to be frank with you. And one of the concepts in that book is talking about like when someone's like focused on something, like the 12K price point, for example, he's so fixated on it, it doesn't really matter what the hell we say, because again, his narrow focus is like tunnel vision on that price point. The easiest way to break that tunnel vision is to expand the field of view and expand his peripheral vision, and then narrow it back to that original field of view. And it's going to seem much insignificant in comparison to his actual perspective that we open up to. So what I mean by that, right, is like the chunking up and then chunking down. So I would ask him, okay, so like you seem a bit shocked by the 12K. Am I right there? He's like, yeah, I wasn't expecting that much. Okay, what were you expecting? Just out of curiosity. And then he maybe says 6K, 5K, whatever, right? And I'm like, okay, gotcha. Let me ask you this. 2 years from now, when you're, and we didn't hear the goals, I'm gonna make this shit up, obviously. 2 years from now, when you're making 30K a month passively, you have all these properties cash flowing, you're sitting and spending more time with your family and kids, taking those hiking trips you wanted to talk about, and you're not having to do grueling agency work that you hate doing. Is that 6K really going to be a matter of comparison now? You're going to be thinking, fuck, I spent 6K 2 years ago for this extra than I was thinking I would do. Is it going to be big of a deal compared to that? And like I'm kind of like in the Michael's smiling because he sees it. It's like I'm kind of just like making him feel dumb, and like I'm calling him stupid and being silly without calling him stupid and being silly, right? That's the way I'm doing it. So what I'm doing there is I'm removing that logistical barrier. And when you do that, you ask it that way, and you're kind of playful, he'll kind of like nervous laugh and sit in it, and like he kind of doesn't have an answer to say because I kind of caught him in that trap. And then I can address that personal fear because now there's no wall to hide behind. One of the easiest ways to do it, guys, is like what I just found is I just like to say is like, is it just nerves? And I just like to open it up like that, playfully, with a little bit of a smile, like, man, is it just nerves? And a lot of times when you can do that, they can just kind of open up like, yeah, I mean, to be frank, a little bit. And then we can go down that whole nerve sprint, right? Like I'm sure you guys have tons of frames, you know how to do that. My favorite frame is like the worst case versus best case frame. So I just say, okay, well, let me ask you this, Ben. Totally okay to be nervous. In fact, if you weren't nervous, and I actually like to address the nerves as a good thing, because they're usually labeling personal fear as a bad thing. But if you can turn to a positive, it helps spin it. It helps them make it jump better. So like actually, to be frank with you, if you weren't nervous about making this investment in your business, I'd be a bit nervous. Like this guy's a bit like a psychopath. He has no emotions coming into this. So I'm glad you feel that. It's a good thing. Let me ask you this. You come in the training, you implement exact, go through the process, go through A, B, C, blah, blah, blah. Do you believe that you can just close one deal with us as an STR? That's what's an average return for an Airbnb?
We target 20% cash on cash for investments.
Okay. So do you believe you can make one deal closing, bringing you back a return 20%? Just one in the next 3 months? And he's like, yeah. Okay, so you're telling me, worst case, you get a 3x ROI on this. Worst case. Best case, you come in here, you close on whatever his goal was, 5, 10 properties, etc., and achieve XYZ goal. Can you tell me another investment option out there, a stock, whatever, that has that type of betting return and risk and odds? Because if so, man, tell me, I'm going to dump all my money into it right now. And then we put them that. And then you can just obviously start like peeling it back a little more and go for the close. But I just wanted to address that because like the original comment of like, oh, I should have gone into personal fear, not finances. Yes, but don't like dive straight to it because then you'll kind of find, man, like you're like digging at it. Like he keeps bringing up this logistical thing over and over again with the 12K. So easiest way is break that barrier down. My favorite way to do that is chunking up and chunking down, like Slide of Mouth teaches. Then I can address it. Then I can normalize the emotion. Then I can add a frame to overcome that emotion.
Hey, one other thing that you guys can leverage, and I tell clients this all the time, is you could say, listen, and talks about the difference in what he knows now versus when he started and learned it on his own. If he knew what he knew today, then he would be making an additional $100,000 a month from his properties. And just let that sink in. Because that's the difference in acquiring the knowledge and having the support today versus 5 years from now doing it on your own. That's like any business, right? You're not just buying the coaching and whatever, you're basically buying someone else's 5 years worth of time, pain, and expertise and getting it within 6 months. What is that worth to you, right? And then you could pair that with the future state of, is this big of a deal of an investment today? But feel free to use that.
Matt, I was going to add in one more thing when he tried to put it on you, like, hey, man, I know you want to make a sale right now. We got to put it back on him. The way I would do that is like, truthfully, man, like you did this. You said, doesn't make a difference to me whether you do this now, next week, tomorrow, whatever it is. Like, it's not about what decision you make. It's about how you actually make this decision. And I know you told me like 5 different times that you're 100% confident you'll get a result with us. You're 100% confident you'll be successful in reaching XYZ goal. So I guess the question is, do you want to make decisions based off that fact or the hypothetical of you not succeeding? And get him to like realize it's not about, oh, maybe I sit with this for a day, 2 days, 5 days, and then come back to you with a decision. It's ultimately about if he's still making decisions the same way 2 days, 5 days, a week from now, with price in mind versus the investment in mind, he's still going to come to the exact same point where he's saying, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's a lot of money. And he's still going to be facing that 5 days from now, 10 days from now, until he chooses to just make decisions based off the fact. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that's for everyone at the end of calls when we face that as well.
Yeah. And you making a decision today or next week, whenever it is, it's not going to change my life. It could change yours.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you feel you got what you need out of that call, man, or do you want to hear the rest of it?
I think that's pretty much like it, because it just goes into a little bit of circles there. I think exactly what you guys were saying. Like, I think if I would have pulled out the nerves and like chunked up a little bit and just showed him like the bigger picture and got him just not just thinking about the cost or investment of it, but instead like kind of broke it down more, just like you said, future pacing it, and then at the end of the day, it's like, do you really believe that, spending that extra 6K when we're in that place 2 years from now, like, do you think that you're going to go back and regret that decision? And then you're going to be like, no. Well, and then I guess like, why is that? Just get them to more explain that. And I like that because, like you said, it makes them kind of feel silly about thinking this way, even because like they're 100% confident about the process. Like, he's been following Michael for a while, so it wasn't a process thing or like us. So it obviously had to been nerves, because if he really truthfully believed in it and he saw that like gold mine in the middle of this lot, he would have spent all the money to go and get it. So
I have a question, Temple. What do you think about like in this particular situation where this guy's been following Michael for so long? Like, just when he shows that, like, holy shit, like, I'm shocked at this price, just being like, hold on, wait, really quick, let me ask you this, like, why did it take you so long to just hop on the phone with us? You've been following us for a while. Like, why did it take you so long to do this? I feel like at that point he would start opening up, like, I've been afraid, like actually saying the truth, and just like totally like removing the whole finance side of things, because that's all fake.
Yeah, I love that personally, to be frank with you.
You
Bring it back.
like that would have been good though, like with this situation, because like I feel like I've done that in the past, it did not go well. So I'm like curious to like, what do you think of that?
I've never used it, to be frank with you, but in theory, I like it. Well, when you said it didn't go well, what happened?
No, they just didn't give me the answer. I was trying to get like a fear objection out of them, and they just stayed surface level. So maybe I just asked it really wrong. I don't know. So
Yeah. Well, what I would use it more as, man, because I like where your head's at. For me, I would use it more as like bringing it back to the goals and desires.
Mhm.
Why you've been following for so long? And then I would ask him, I was like, dude, I'm like, you already been sitting and watching for the past 2 years. I mean, do you want to wait another 2 years to sit and waiting, or do you want to finally do something about it? Because you've been seeing it what, past 2 years. How many testimonials have you seen? How many case studies? How many results? Do you want to be one of those, or do you want to be one of those guys that's on your email list that just keeps watching those? Because you got a choice right now. And the thing too is like when he's like, oh, I don't want to. I know you want the sale. It's like the way I frame it's like, dude, whether I make the sale or not, I think it was Michael that was originally saying this, right? It's like whether I make the sale or not doesn't change my life. I'm here, man, as a coach, not to coach you on like what to do, but coach you how to think. And if there's a reason, like logistically, like it doesn't make sense to spend the 12K because like you're putting on a credit card and you're literally about to apply for a new house and it doesn't make sense because you can't actually pull the credit. Okay, fine. But so far as yet, man, like you haven't given me like a good reason to actually hop off the call and not do this. And that concerns me because when you're in the program, there's going to be times where the coaches are going to ask you to do things that are a bit uncomfortable for you, that are the best for your business. And if you can't take an action when it's most important then, when it's most important now, I'm a bit worried that you're going to be able to take action when it's most important then as well. And then you lean out of it a bit. So then you're getting him to qualify himself, right? Best way to get someone to do like that is like leaning out, is like or leaning out is like not to like lean in more. Like I love Matthew's aggressiveness on the call. I don't ever want aggressiveness to be dialed down. But like learning how to control and jujitsu it a bit more, because the issue is like he's leaning out, like we're pushing him, we're not letting him talk. We're just like constantly asking questions, trying to gather conversation. He's just gonna lean out more. Versus if I lean out, that gives him the opportunity to lean in.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. All good shit. I don't know if we have time for another call, but we definitely have time to ask a bunch of questions. Is it Gian or is it Gian? I don't want to butcher your name.
Yeah, it's Gian.
Gian. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, close. Gian.
Gian.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I'll remember that. What's your question?
So you're going through the objection handling, you're leaning out, you're leaning in, you're handling their concerns, you're letting them think. How do you personally ask for the sale?
I just like to say, can I welcome to the family? I've been using it for 5 years on every offer I've ever been in. It's just never done me wrong.
And at what point do you know to ask for the sale?
The best, yeah, it's so case by case, right? Not a lot, it's like intuition, experience. But if I would give you a logistical reason or logistical like thought process behind it, it's kind of when they're at that stall, man. Like after you've handled little objections, and they're kind of like smiling a little bit too, because like they know they have nothing left to give you in terms of an excuse. That's where I like to ask it. Because I know at that point, I know I have the whole call. I'm like, don't interrupt him, don't interrupt him, don't interrupt him. But at that specific moment, I know if I just like sit there in silence, then he'll be like, okay, well, I'm still gonna think about it. Versus like it's the right moment to pull the trigger. Very rarely you'll handle an objection, and then they'll be like, okay, you're right, here's my credit card. It's mostly you handle an objection, then they kind of stall, and they're like, fuck, he got me. That's the moment I like to ask for it. So can I I'm like, dude, can I just welcome you to the family? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. What's a good email address to send a receipt to for your tax write-off? So you're not paying for this. Okay, cool. What's a good card I'm gonna put down for that? And then obviously just go for the close.
That's very smooth. I like it. Thanks, Temple.
Yeah, good question. What other questions, guys?
Temple, I think it can be helpful just for the guys at the end of calls with reframes. If there's any key reframes that you like to use after, like, let's say you isolate and say it's like a fear objection, like any go-to reframes that you use, because I know these guys would eat it up and implement it on next calls.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if you don't already know these transparently. So I'm just saying that as I don't want you to expect like some shit you haven't heard there before. But I like the worst case, best case frame, the one I gave earlier on this call. That's one of my favorites. And then two, it's like identity. Identity is what most powerful human driver, but beyond purpose and reason, according to Tony Robbins, right? And purpose and reason, that's kind of hard to get on a sales call. It's kind of cheesy as well. So identity is the second best, we have in terms of motivators. So like someone like that is like, dude, can I ask you for a different, or can I introduce a different perspective to you here? If was on this situation, on a call with someone and he wants to grow his coaching business. And they told him it's 12K and he's been following that person for years. And he knows he can get a result with them in return. Do you think he'd be giving the same exact excuses reason you're giving right now? No? Why would you think he wouldn't? Okay, can I ask, do you want to have somewhat resemblance of the same success that he's had? Okay, well, you know the most common saying, right? Actions follows success. So what do you think you need to do in this situation right now then? Sales training is so good. Michael came back with a kid to get her trained up as well.
But that's really good, Temple. I normally like to use what you used earlier, which is like, future pace, the identity of like, what does that allow them to become, being able to get to 20K a month, spend more time with the family, live the life that they want to live, drop everything on a random Tuesday. What would that person do in this decision when they're faced with it? I never thought of using as the identity of success and what he would do in that decision.
Right, because he's been for years, right? It's like that's the number one guy he looks at. He even said himself, I don't follow anyone else, just
You guys ever see the movie Nerve?
Super
Like
good.
that's the reason I'm asking. You guys know the movie Nerve with like Emma Roberts and Dave Franco?
I do.
All right, so really quick, like this is I just thought about this now because this plays right into it. Like, there's basically the movie is based off of two different types of like people, like the players who basically like, and then the watchers. The watchers give the players challenges, and the players, if they make it to the end, like there's a reward, right? But the watchers have nothing to gain from it. There's no risk, there's no reward. So I feel like using an analogy, I feel like we don't do that a lot. I'm not trying to put everyone else on blast, but I know that I don't use a lot of analogies anymore. Like just being able to like tie in like totally different things and just let them kind of see it from another perspective, where it's like not coming directly from you, not coming directly from a client win. That's how every salesperson is selling them anyway. Just being a little bit different, playing into what you told us last time, Temple, about not doing what everyone else does.
100%.
Just
Is that a good movie as well?
great movie.
Nice.
Great movie. Actually, MGK is in it. So
Oh, wait,
yeah, now you guys are gonna watch it. There you go.
he's in the most random movies.
Yeah,
Like, I
MGK is a worthless actor, but it's fine.
He is. I remember watching Bird Box. I didn't know he was in it, and then I was like, "What the fuck? This guy just showed up out of nowhere."
Nah, not good.
Jonathan, Noah, Carlos, Michael, Alberto, Andrew, any questions, guys? Setting side?
I do. I got a prospect this morning that he told me that like he basically just bought a property and he learned every single side of Airbnb by himself. He doesn't want to sign up for a program. So he told me that he wanted to wait until he launched the Airbnb. So if problems come up, he can ask us and maybe he could join the academy. How do I like tell him that's a bad idea to wait until problems come up to actually reach out for help?
Yeah, I'm sorry, brother. Not that you didn't ask the question correctly. Can you ask one more time? I was just trying to. One of you guys send me a personal message.
No worries. So I got this prospect who basically just bought a property. He told me he knew how to automate the entire Airbnb, whatever. But he told me that he wants to wait until December until he launched the listing on Airbnb. So if problems come up, he could actually reach out to us for help. Like how do you tell him that that's like a stupid mentality? Like how do you tell him that's like it's better to reach out for help now that you're starting now rather than waiting until problems come up?
Yeah, well, the best. So, but you have to look at the objection as like at its core. What is it? It's an ego-based objection, right? So the best way to remove ego-based objections is to instill what? Doubt.
Fear, doubt.
Bingo, exactly. So to instill doubt, one of the best ways I find going about it is like not asking, well, what do you think? Stopping you, like that question's not going to work anymore. It's way too outdated. So post, I'd rather ask them questions on the process specifically that I know he won't have answers to. I don't know Airbnb well enough, so I should give some examples from mine. So if someone was like, oh, well, I just want to wait till bring on this closer or whatnot, or wait till I'm ready for bring on a couple more closers. I would ask, okay, gotcha. Well, no worries. I just real quick, I just want to ask, just get my checks and balances, or maybe there's some stuff I can even send over to help with that. What does your 3-week ramp process look like in detail in terms of ramping up these new closers? Because I'm sure you've obviously already built that out, so we make sure they hit KPI in under 30 days. Oh, you don't have one? Interesting. Okay. And then I'll just ask a few more questions like that starts to just nod at the fact that he doesn't know as much as what he's thinking about. And then once I have that very broken down, I was like, look, I mean, whether you start or not, it's not just about getting a credit card. It's about building a relationship long term. So why don't we do this? Let me get you on with one of our top consultants, Matthew, tomorrow, and he can run you through it. Maybe there's some things you're not even thinking about on top of what we just talked about there that can prep you. So when you do want to start in December, you haven't made some costly mistakes that would actually cost you by the time you get to us. Because then I would use Matthew's frame that I gave earlier with Tai Lopez. Like the majority of people, man, to give you context, come to us after something already broke and they fucked up doing it. So you might as well have this conversation, at least get some insight from it. Okay. And then I can get him on, and then obviously Matthew can do his thing and close him down.
Gotcha. How would you, my dilemma with that type of prospect is, you know, because they already got a property, they already bought it. Like, how do I financially qualify? How do I know if they're like, they have money to?
I mean, if you bought a property, probably has money, man. That's a pretty good indicator. Okay. Yeah, I more care about the intention of him coming in. Like if obviously decent financial qualifications seems apparent. Like something for him too, by the way, that I just thought of was like, I would ask him, I was like, yeah, gosh, I totally understand. Can I ask, what was your original reasoning of like opting into that in the first place that you thought was helpful? Because obviously there was still something there that got his interest. Like you didn't just find on like a list and cold call him. He opted into you guys first. So I'd bring it back to that intention, that interest and desire, and then you can start working around that as well.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, Nick just dropped some great fucking questions for the doubt. Perfect.
Yeah, like ask him specific questions, like the one Justin said, like what is your process to hit 20% caching? I'm pretty sure if I ask him that question, he didn't have an answer to it. This is like he would have been like, oh, I don't know, like blah blah blah, but no like straight like plans. I'm pretty sure, and that's when I could have booked the consult. So yeah, thank you, Temple.
Yeah, 100%. Who else? Too much sauce today? You guys sauce?
I got one.
Yeah,
If
go
I
for it.
still have time, Temple, that's cool.
Yeah.
How do you chunk down on the gap when you're asking those specific questions after, let's say, I don't have anything in place for that? And then how do you move on?
Yeah, so I don't want to provide, good question. I don't want to provide a resolution after I do that. Because then it removes the purpose of bringing the doubt. The whole point of the doubt is like to leave him sitting in it. So once I ask him those questions and I get him to admit that he doesn't know what the answer is, I'll just say, interesting, okay, I got some thoughts on that. We'll circle back to that later. And then I move on. So the answer is don't do anything after that. Let him sit in it. So that way, by the time he gets to the pitch, I've kind of broken down enough where he's like going to want to listen.
And Temple, like for you, like how would you know that you have like enough doubt? Like what's like a telltale sign that like this person actually is having doubt and not just maybe just like we brushed it over, but like we actually didn't like get enough?
Yeah, one of the easiest ways, man, is like you'll notice is like they'll kind of like start asking you questions on the process. Because versus like before, like, oh, I didn't know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, like I kind of just want to hop off. Like they'll start asking you questions about what they would do here. It's kind of the same thing as dating and sales are so related, right? Like if you go cold approach a girl, the moment she asks what your name is, you know you're in. She's showing interest. So or like what is you do for work or whatever, like are you from here or whatever. Like then I know she's in and I actually have a chance here. It's the same thing here. Is like if I'm on a sales call and he starts asking some questions on like what my thoughts is around what he's doing, then I know I've broken down that doubt pretty well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sweet. Yeah, I know you guys got to hop for a call here, so I won't hold you too much longer. Great seeing you all this week. Better call everything last week, or last 2 weeks ago, I would even say. So looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks, Temple.
Thanks, Temple.
You guys are recording.